Previously, on The Man Who Doesn't Walk Back, Emmanuel Okafor was a night guard. He was quiet, he was faithful, he had a ritual. And 5 boys took everything from him in under 3 minutes. His body was found face up, facing forward, dragged backward, but never turned around. The school swept the corridor. The school filed a report. The school used the words accident and fall. And life continued. For 3 nights, nothing. For 3 nights, silence. The kind of silence that feels like something holding its breath. Then came the 4th night. Step, drag. And the silence was never the same again.
Before we follow what happened to Kayode Mensah, you need to understand who he was, not what he became, who he was before. Because the most important thing about this story is not the curse, it is the person the curse chose and what that choice says about what this entity really is. Kayode Mensah was 13 years old, from Aba, second of 4 children. The kind of student teachers quietly prayed would make it, not because he was special, but because he was good. Good in the way that is rarer than brilliance, consistent, honest, quietly determined. He sent half his chop money home every term. Not all of it, he was 13, not a saint, but half, without being asked, without being praised for it. He folded it into a small envelope, wrote his sister's name on the front, and handed it to Mama Ngozi, who always knew someone traveling to Aba. His sister's name was Adaize. She was 9. She wanted to be a nurse. Kayode told anyone who would listen that she was going to be the best nurse in all of Eastern Nigeria. He believed this completely, the way only an older brother can. He had a habit of humming, a song his mother had taught him. She called it his alarm clock, said she could always tell when Kayode was near before she could see him. By the time he arrived at Federal Government College, it had become something deeper than habit. It was the sound of him being himself. His roommates teased him for it. His mathematics teacher had asked him twice to stop during class, but the humming never really stopped. It just became quieter, like breathing. He had done nothing wrong. He had been nowhere near the gate that Friday night. He had not heard the scuffling. He had not seen the lantern drop. He did not know Emmanuel Okafor's name beyond the way all juniors know the names of school staff, vaguely, distantly, as part of the furniture of the place. He was simply a boy who slept in house 1, 3rd bunk from the door, on the corridor's straight line. That was enough. The night Kayode first heard it, he was not in his bunk. He was at the window. The heat had woken him, that particular October heat that sits on your chest like a hand and does not lift. He had pushed the louvers open and was standing at the sill in his singlet, letting the small night breeze move across his face. He was not thinking about anything important. He was thinking about a mathematics problem from that afternoon, the kind of problem that follows you to bed and waits. Then he heard it. Step, drag, step, drag. Getting quieter now, moving away, never turning, never slowing. Kayode stood at the window for a long time after the sound was gone. His mathematics problem had completely left his mind. He told himself it was the new guard, that the new guard also had a limp, that the old corridor lighting made shadows behave strangely, that there were probably maintenance doors in that section he had never noticed. He told himself all of this very carefully, the way you build a wall brick by brick, the way you make something ordinary out of something that is not. He went back to his bunk. He lay down. He did not sleep. And in the quiet of the dormitory, so soft that no one else could hear, he started humming. His mother sung, over and over, until eventually, somewhere close to 3 a.m., his eyes finally closed. He did not know it then, but that was the last night he would hum without realizing he had stopped.
The curse does not announce itself. That is the first rule nobody tells you. It does not arrive with a flash of light or a voice in the dark. It arrives the way water arrives in a wall. You don't see it entering. You only see what it has already done. His table erupted in laughter. Kayode laughed too. The kind of easy, uncomplicated laughter of someone who has nothing to hide. Emeka said, "Kayode, which ghost tripped you?" More laughter. Kayode shook his head, grinning. He looked down on the floor. There was nothing there. There had never been anything there. He sat back down and continued eating. He did not think about it again. Not that day. He crossed it again, deliberately, carefully. His left foot caught it again. Not badly, not enough for anyone to notice. Just a slight drag, a fraction of a second's hesitation, as if his left foot was receiving instructions from somewhere slightly delayed, as if something else was deciding when it lifted. Kayode stared at his foot for a long moment. Then he walked to the bathroom. He told no one. That evening, in prep, he sat at his desk, and underneath his notebook, he wrote a single line. "My left foot is behaving strangely." He stared at it. Then he crossed it out. Then he tore the page from the notebook entirely. Emeka almost called out. Then he saw him. Kayode was walking. Not quickly, not urgently. He was moving along the center line of the dormitory, between the rows of bunks, toward the far door. Slow, deliberate, straight. Emeka thought he was sleepwalking. He almost called his name. Emeka. Kayode? Kayode did not turn around. He did not slow. He kept walking. Straight line, straight line, straight line. Through the far door and into the corridor. Emeka sat very still in his bunk. He had heard the stories. Every child in the Nigerian boarding school had heard the stories. He knew what it meant when someone stopped turning around. He lay back down. He pulled his blanket up. He said nothing. In the morning, Kayode was back in his bunk. He had no memory of getting up. He had no memory of walking. He asked Emeka if he had slept okay. Emeka said yes. Another silent witness. Another person who saw and chose the silence. The school was very good at producing them. It was day 14. 2 full weeks since the night at the window. Kayode had noticed his foot. He had not spoken about his foot. He had constructed an explanation about a mild strain, perhaps from football, perhaps from the stairs. And he had accepted this explanation with the same focused determination he applied to mathematics problems. He was almost convinced. "Mr. Adibowale, Kayode, come and show us how to resolve the second equation." Visual. Kayode stands. He picks up his notebook. He moves toward the front of the class. And the room goes quiet. Not because of anything dramatic. Because of something small. Something everyone in the room notices at the same moment without meaning to. His walk. Not broken, not falling, not the exaggerated drag of someone in pain. Just wrong. Off by a fraction that had no name. His left foot lifting a half-beat late. The sole catching the floor on the way up rather than the way down. A rhythm that belonged to something older than a 13-year-old boy from Aba. He reached the board. He picked up the chalk. He began to write. And then he heard it. Not from outside the classroom, not from the corridor, from the floor,
from beneath his own feet. Step. Drag. His own footstep. His own drag. He stopped writing. He looked down at his left foot. The chalk was still in his hand. The classroom was very quiet. Mr. Adibo Ali said, "Kayode, are you all right?" He looked up. 31 faces looking back at him. Some curious, some uncertain. Emeka in the third row looking at the desk. Not at Kayode, at the desk. The way you look when you already know and cannot bear to see it confirmed. Kayode put the chalk down. "I'm fine, sir," Kayode said. He walked back to his seat, every step deliberate, every step watched, his left foot dragging on 4 of the 8 steps it took to reach his desk. He sat down. He opened his notebook. He held his pencil over the page. And for the first time since he had arrived at Federal Government College Okore, Kayode Mensah was not humming. The mathematics lesson continued around him. The chalk squeaked on the board. The Haramatan rattled the classroom windows. The world kept going. And in the silence inside Kayode's chest, where his mother's song used to live, there was only a rhythm now. Step. Drag. Emara had been watching Kayode for 2 weeks. She had noticed his foot before anyone else. She had noticed Emeka's silence. She had noticed the way the teachers looked past Kayode's changed walk, the same way they had looked past the drag marks on the corridor. She had seen this before. This looking past. This choosing not to name what was right in front of you. The school was very practiced at it. She thought about what Kayode had done to deserve this. She could think of nothing. She thought about what she had done to deserve what she now carried. She could think of only one thing. She had seen everything, and she had said nothing. She sat under the mango tree until the evening bell rang. She listened to the birds settle into the branches above her. She thought about Emmanuel, who stood here every night and looked up and said good night to someone he had lost and loved. She thought, if he could keep doing his job after losing everything, then the least she could do was use her voice. She stood up. She brushed the dirt from her uniform. She looked toward the principal's office. She had a decision to make. She had already made it. In House 3, in the senior dorm, Tunde Adeyemi had not slept properly in 14 nights. He told himself it was exam pressure. He told himself it was the heat. He told himself a great many things. He was very good at it. He had always been very good at building walls out of words. But tonight, the walls were thinner. He lay on his back, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. The generator had gone off at midnight. The school was silent. Then, step. Drag. Tunde's entire body went still. The kind of still that is not calm, the kind that is the opposite of calm. Step. Drag. It was coming down the main corridor, the long one, the straight one, the one that ran directly past the senior dorm. Tunde Adeyemi, senior prefect, school captain, the boy who gave the order, sat up in his bed, slowly, the way you move when you are trying to make no sound, when you are trying not to be noticed, when you are for the first time in your life afraid of being found. Step. Drag. The sound moved past his door, did not slow, did not stop, continued down the corridor, straight line, into the dark, away. And Tunde sat in the silence for a long time, blanket at his chin, sweat on his face, the most powerful boy in the school, in the dark, alone, shaking. And into that silence, one thought, not loud, not dramatic, just quiet and certain and cold. It knows where I am. Next episode, Amara knows, the girl who saw everything. He didn't come for you last night. He is still learning your corridor. Kayode did nothing wrong. He was in the wrong corridor at the wrong time. That was enough. So let me ask you something. Think about where you sleep. Think about what corridor runs by your window. Think about whether you have ever, even once, heard a sound at night that you decided was nothing. You told yourself it was the building settling, the neighbors, the wind. We all do. But here is what nobody tells you about this legend. It does not require you to be guilty. It does not require you to be cruel. It does not even require you to have been there. It only requires one thing, that you are in the path. And you don't choose the path. The path chooses you. He is still walking.